Welcome to Category Visionaries, the show dedicated to exploring exciting visions for the future from the founders who are on the front lines building it. In each episode, we'll speak with a visionary founder who's building a new category or reimagining an existing one. We'll learn about the problem they solve, how their technology works, and unpack their vision for the future. I'm your host, Brett Stapper, CEO of Frontlines Media. Now let's dive right into today's episode. Hey everyone, and thank you for listening. Today I'm speaking with Guilhem, CEO and co-founder of Elistair, a tethered drone manufacturer that's raised over 8 million euros in funding. Guilhem, thanks for chatting with me today.
Hey Brett, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So before we begin talking about what you're building there, can we just start with a quick summary of who you are and a bit more about your background?
Yes, of course. I'm 34. I'm French. I have an engineering and business background. I'm married, father of 3 young kids, and love traveling, backcountry skiing, and tennis and boulder climbing.
Nice. That's amazing. And shout out to you for making it work as a CEO of a startup and being a father of 3 kids. That can't be easy to manage that.
No, it's not. When I started, I hadn't any kids, but it's a different challenge. It's a very great thing that happens to me.
Nice. That's incredible. Now, a couple of questions that we like to ask just to better understand what makes you tick as a founder. First one is, what CEO do you admire the most, and what do you admire about that?
I don't have specific founders in mind. I enjoy read books about entrepreneurship stories. And if I had to pick one, I recently read the story of Evan Schwiner from Patagonia. It was a great read. He's a great entrepreneur and very good at branding and building a culture. So yeah, I really enjoyed what he's done. And recently he sold, so he gave all these shares to for his cause, like for environmental foundation. Yeah. So great read. I would recommend it.
Nice. Is that available in French or is that just in English?
I found it in French. I'm a bit lazy. Sometimes I have to read in English because it's the book. I can't find them in French, but this one I could. Oh.
Very nice. Very nice. Now let's jump into the origin story. So I know that the company launched, I think I found online in 2014. So can you take us back to 2014? What was going on in those early days?
So I did an internship at the end of my studies in a drone company called Studio Fly, a French company. And my job was to be a business developer. So I was looking to extend the services this company was providing. And we were struggling with batteries because with drones, batteries usually, you to fly for 30 minutes to 50 minutes-ish. And it's great for some short missions like inspections, but it's very limiting, in fact, for longer applications. And one day we had a mission where we had to put a leash on the drone for legal reason to be able to fly in Paris. And that's kind of the way the idea came to build tethered drones to solve the limitation on battery, but also to solve the communications and legal permissions.
And what do the legal permissions look like today in France and just globally? How have you seen them evolve?
France was quite early on this drone space and on the regulations, because in 2012, there was a first draft. Currently, there is a European rules that are being worked on that will be applied in the next 2 years, I believe. Let's say the context doesn't evolve much in terms of risk and limits to fly drones. Usually, it's the categories. It's the same in North America. The categories are defined by weight and globally the risk that people are enduring and at the other aircraft might endure because of drones. But it's it's good. It allows enough space to develop companies using drones, and it hasn't been our field, at least, a limiting factor.
And in my mind, one of the benefits of drones is the fact that they can move around and cover, large distances. So is there a downside there of this having to be tethered in? I understand there's major benefits, it sounds like, from a battery perspective and communication perspective, but do you lose some of those benefits of the drone capabilities because it's tethered?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not designed for every application, of course. The idea is that, I say the maturity of the drone market is now at a stage where for each application will have a specific aircraft with different capabilities. So we are going away from the time where everyone thought that one drone would solve everything. So it's a very interesting space, at least on the B2B side, to be in. And for us, tethered drones, yes, we are, I'd say, it's very hard to beat a tethered drone for border surveillance, for instance, or forward operating base surveillance, or for tactical comms, or for large event surveillance. But for other missions like reconnaissance or inspections, we are not at all on that field. And it's good for us also on the building of the business. It means that we can focus on very precise personas. Ours are in the military and in police, public safety, and be very sharp on how we build the product.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's probably what happens with a lot of emerging technology, right? Where it starts off, very, very broad and people try to use it for everything. And then as the market develops and matures, the more niche solutions and purpose-built solutions begin to develop and gain traction. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Now, looking on your website, I see the applications broken out. So we have defense, public safety, private security. One thing I want to ask about defense, because in the United States, this is a very active topic in the startup world that you may be aware of, where for maybe the last 10, 15 years, it became basically unacceptable or not allowed for Silicon Valley tech companies to support defense. The workers at these companies could say, hey, we didn't, join this company to build missiles, blah, 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 all of these things. It's changing right now a lot. More and more companies are popping up to say, hey, we have a duty in this country to, support the government and support defense and help price them. Is there a similar conversation happening in France, or has France generally been more open to the idea of technology companies working with the defense sector?
Yeah, I think it's very similar. It's maybe not as transparent as you said it, but the same. We have two struggles, let's say, during our journey of looking for fundings. It's that we are a hardware company building hardware products, and we are in defense. So it's two things that didn't help us. But I think with the growth, with the strategy, the business plan, and the results we got, step by step, it took time, maybe more time than we originally wanted to. But the market's maturing on the drone side also, and in public safety took time also. So in the end, I think we had the right timing. But it's, I think we were lucky also because every deal we struck on the funding side, it was difficult. Yeah, it took time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I'm guessing you're not the first founder to say, oh man, that took a little bit longer than expected and cost more than expected. That just seems to be what happens in entrepreneurship in general, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Patience is a good value that you are forced to develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, from those different applications, are there any that you're really seeing gain a lot of traction and you're personally very excited about?
I'd say on the public safety side, we've been engaging more and more with police forces on protecting big events. And it's very exciting because we have systems, on the Super Bowl, for instance, in Atlanta, and this year or so, we have been engaged also in the Football World Cup in Qatar, on the Ryder Cup. So it's always very exciting moments, great exposure also. And it's all about our mission, which is to protect those who protect us. So the military and the police. So at least those moments are great. At the beginning of the company, it was a challenge because we were prototyping, of course. It took time, but now we have over 1,000 systems deployed. We built a great production, quality management, and so on. So it's a good moment.
This show is brought to you by Frontlines Media, a podcast production studio that helps B2B founders launch, manage, and grow their own podcast. Now, if you're a founder, you may be thinking, I don't have time to host a podcast. I've got a company to build. Well, that's exactly what we built our service to do. You show up and host, and we handle literally everything else. To set up a call to discuss launching your own podcast, visit frontlines.io/podcast. Now, back to today's episode.
And could you tell us more about what the drone is doing when it's up there? So let's say at the Super Bowl, can you share at the Super Bowl or events like that, how many drones are we talking about? I guess that's my first question is, are there 4 drones, one in every corner, or are there 40 drones, circling the entire event?
Although it's usually a few units between 1 and 5. For Super Bowl, there were 2. One was with the police and the other one was with CNN. So there was 2 applications, one for protection around the stadium and the other one was for broadcasting, media broadcasting. But yeah, that's usually kind of volume we are in.
That makes a lot of sense. And on the security side, then, what is the drone monitoring? Is it doing a heat map? Is it doing some type of image scanning of every person's body to see if they have a weapon on them? What exactly is it screening for and doing up there in the sky?
It's usually depending on the context and the events and what the police is looking for. So if it's, for instance, a game, recently there was in Montana, they used our tethered drones for a Bear Stadium, and they were looking on the mountains around to see there were people lost at night. They were also checking money transfers between, sales points of, beverages and food. They were also looking into restricted areas to see if no one was over trespassing. And so usually there are 4, 5 to 6, points of interest that are checking. And yeah, it's multi-use around security.
Got it. So is it typically more about providing visibility to the person operating it? It's not as much scanning each individual and trying to figure out if they're a potential risk. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah. It's usually, so having an IL view offers you great data because you have a very good view of what is happening at a few kilometers around the system. And all the goal is to make faster and better decisions when time is sensitive. So it's the same for police work isn't a thing, but also for, public safety firefighters on a forest fire, for instance, they will locate faster the point of the fire and be able to geolocate on the software where it's happening and quickly tell the team how they can fight better. But it's usually a global view. And when you see something specific happening, you can zoom in. So we have the opportunity on tethered drones, as we have unlimited power, we have the opportunity to put a bigger camera capacity. So they can usually detect up to at 10 kilometers a vehicle moving. So it's a great way to limit, the impact of not having mobility. We usually try to fly, the highest possible with bigger cameras.
That makes a lot of sense. I have to say, every time I go to a large event, there's always a point in time where I look around and just think, wow, this is a little bit making me uneasy. I could see how there could be a terrorist attack here. Maybe that's just because I live in the United States. And that's something that we all have to think about is, there going to be a terrorist attack? Is there going to be a shooting or a stabbing? That's kind of become like life for, I think, a lot of us here. And I know other countries have similar problems. So that makes me feel a little bit relieved to know that there's devices like this that are flying around the events, or at least in the sky in the events, and keeping a watch over things. So that's comforting. I'm going to feel better next time I attend an event because of you.
In France, we have history also on attacks on big events. And next year, there's the Olympics coming in France. So it's a big topic. And tethered drones are, let's say, a small part of the whole system, of course. But it's always finding the way to make hardware and data sensors collaborate well through the right network so that we can collaborate well and solve this kind of crisis faster.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I can see how it's, part of the tech stack. I feel like there's never going to be one thing that solves the problem that, requires a lot of different tools all combined together, along with great people, I'm guessing, to, of course, make sure things are secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, seeing on the website, I see the Guns N' Roses concert. I see the Montana University Police, like you mentioned. These are very American sounding things. Guns N' Roses, Montana. So being a company in France, has it been difficult for you to break into the US market, or have you generally seen that they're so impressed and excited about the technology that they don't really care that you're from France and you're not from Silicon Valley or maybe DC, where more of the government contractors are?
Yeah, actually, it's been very organic from the start. We chose when starting the company, it's kind of a long tail problem for us, challenge, and because we are on a niche technology, so we had to export the system. We have a few targets per country, very precise. So we built it all the marketing, the go-to-market strategy through the web, through internet. Even if at first it sounded a bit counterintuitive, especially in the defense sector, but it worked well. And let's say Europe and North America drove the company and the growth. And with the pull from North America, we built a team 2 years ago. So now we have a team of 5 people based in North Carolina. And now we are very happy and very proud to serve this market. And our intent is to strengthen the team and the support, technical support there, because we see there is a lot of challenges, especially on the police side and public safety to solve. So we are striving for it.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense. And are there any other numbers you can share with us that just demonstrate the growth that you're seeing?
Last year, we had a 50% growth for the company. It was a good, strong year. We are aiming for the same this year. I talked about 1,000 systems deployed. Company is 8 years old. We are around 60 people now. Yeah, the pool is great. We have a lot of new products coming this year. Last year was a year of development, and we kept the same range of products. And this year we have 3 or 4 new releases. So we are very excited to see what's coming.
Nice. That's amazing. Now, what's the competitive landscape look like today? Are you seeing more and more competitors enter in, or what's that competitive landscape like today? And how has that evolved since 2014?
I'd say currently we are 3 or 4 companies at a similar level between, 40 and 60 people, 2 in Europe and 2 in the US. Every company has a different focus, I'd say. And our specificity that we released the first tethering station on the market, and customers most of them were, entrepreneurs that believed in the solution, but weren't really knowing what customers to target, what it was, and what it would be used for. So it was very early. And now we are at a different stage. Our customers, they know what a tethered drone is, and they know how to use it and what for. It's more a question of scaling programs and convincing hierarchy and using it in real life situation to scale. So it's a very, very interesting time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I'm sure you've encountered a couple of challenges along the way. If we had to choose one go-to-market challenge that you faced and overcame, what would that challenge be, and how did you overcome it?
We had a lot of challenge, but I would say we spoke about hardware, and I would say it made it a challenge to find, the first product market fit. Let's say to find the first customer and to build a prototype we could sell to them. I'd say, and that was a pivotal moment for the company, because at first we tried a lot of things and the pricing weren't right, the targets weren't right, and so on and so on. So it took, I don't know, 9 months. And we finally made the first sale to Thales in France. And after that, I'd say it was the real starting point, because we could raise funds and we began our iterations, getting feedbacks, improving the products, and so on and so on and so on. The challenge is always in the hardware space to reduce the cycles of developments. It's a lot easier with the software, but we worked in a fab lab at first, and then we refined our ways to get shorter and shorter cycles of developments.
Nice. That's amazing. Okay, last question here for you. Let's zoom out 3 to 5 years into the future. What's the company look like?
That's a great topic, and I wish I knew. Usually, we are caught in the day-to-day operation. Let's say our main goal is to build the leading tethered drone manufacturer in the world, but also a European drone champion. So it's very exciting and challenging. And in terms of technology, drones evolve very fast. So our goal is to foster adoption by making tethered drone technology fully autonomous. And we still have work to do that. Enhance it with AI to help, the operator focus on the mission, not on the system. and to build the right apps for the right missions. And we also working on making it ready for 24 remote surveillance operations. So currently our solutions are built for events, for operation from 1 day to 1 week. And what we want to do is developing fully autonomous tethered drone boxes that can be remotely deployed on sites, borders, and controlled through a kind of a cloud system, which will really widen the market and the value can bring, mostly in the private security sector.
Wow, that's super exciting. Now, unfortunately, we are up on time, so we're going to have to wrap here. I would love to keep you on and ask you another 50 questions, but we'll have to save that for part 2. So before we wrap, if people want to follow along with your journey as you continue to build, where's the best place for them to go?
Well, we are quite active on LinkedIn. So you can follow the company on LinkedIn, and also the website, the blog is a good way of getting the latest news.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell your story and really share the vision and everything that you're building there. It's always exciting talking with companies that are really using technology to solve important problems in the world. So really appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck in executing on this vision.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was a great moment. Have a good week ahead. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you. Keep in touch. Take care.